Hare Krishna, dear friends. So, very good afternoon to all of you. So today, I am going to tell you the most important three reasons because of which Indian youths are actually in great stress. So we know youth is the time when we had anticipated everything wonderful to come out, and we had a lot of dreams for the youths, right? So instead of getting a lot of thrill, happiness in the youth period, many of the youths are actually suffering from stress. As a matter of fact, 89% of youths are actually suffering from stress, different types of frustrations, and so many things. So we'll see today what is the three reasons because of which the youths are actually having these problems. So I'll share with you this mind map that you are able to see here. So there are three main reasons. First one is called the artificial gap between propaganda and reality. So what has been propagated by media, specifically the digital media, you will be shocked to know that 98% is of advertisement which is actually there in digital media is actually focusing upon youths. Their target audience is youth, and that youth makes the 34% of whole population. So 98% of advertisement for 34% of whole human population, that is actually youths. So why anyway advertisement required? What is the necessity of advertisement in life? Like what is advertised which is actually having less value and which is actually not so much necessary for our life, those things are actually required to be advertised, right? So that's why this advertisement industry is booming so much. So many unnecessary things of youth's life is actually being advertised so that youth will purchase it in the anticipation of happiness, what they're actually going to propose. But when they are purchasing it, seeing the advertisement, seeing the ads, okay, I will get to this and I will get to that. But when they are purchasing it and trying to get all those promised happiness, then they actually shocked to know that actually it is too much stressful and they are not actually able to get even a 5% or 2% of the happiness what has been actually proposed to them. So there is a big gap between happiness derived and happiness achieved. So this is one of the main reason of Indian youths, or specifically the whole global youths, to be actually stressful. So now let us go to the second section of our today's discussion. The second reason is majority of youth innovation is curtailed. When child grows up, then they come to schools, then they go to colleges, right? So in colleges and schools, still the same 200-year-old educational system is running. A British education system which was actually have been commissioned in 1825, right? So the same education is actually still rampant. There a lot of information has been given, but hardly any skill of entrepreneurship, any life skill to get jobs, to do something, to create something. Organic agriculture is fully undermined, where we know our Indian economy system is around more than 60% based upon agriculture, and people they don't want to talk about this. And cattle farming and cattle growing and caring is perfectly undermined. They won't talk about this. So how this can be done? Because these are the basic, most fundamental pillars of Indian economy, and these sectors can give more employment than any other sector. And because of there are so many unemployed youths and very less limited job, and youths are very much stressful because of this, because they have very little idea of what could be more basic and more natural way of living, natural way of employment, and they have been given very artificial hype of high salaried job with a white collar job. So this is actually the situation. So now third is systematical removal of science of God from educational system. Systematically removal of science of God from education system. So this is one of the most important. So because of Christian missionary, they creep in Indian educational system. They thought that whole Indian education system is so systematically maintained and commissioned that no school is charging any amount of money for education. That is the Gurukul system, which provides education keeping God in the center. So systematically they removed one by one every element of Vedic education from Indian educational system. And because of that, what happened? They made youths and especially children to understand that your goal of life is something to compete with your colleagues, compete with your fellow mates. They are your enemies, and you have to really work hard. You have to do this and forget about peaceful life and God-centered life. So education became more of competition than learning. Education became more of cutthroat competitions, enviousness, than real learning for livelihood. So this is the second. And third, in this third point, is purpose of life is changed from God to become heavy laborers. Heavy laborers or heavy labor robots. So just let me correct it here. Heavy labor robots means just I'll give him more salary, and he will work more. So in this way, because everybody is talking about just a high salary, and people have actually forgotten that actually the purpose of life is not just high salary. Purpose of life is to become happy. Purpose of life is to come and bring our life more and more God-centered, right? So these are the main three reasons what we discussed today, because of which Indian youths are stressful, that I can again recap for you all. First one is the artificial gap between propaganda and reality, propaganda of advertisement. Second is called majority of youths, innovation is curtailed. They have been taught to do particular things by social pressure, by peer pressure, or like parental pressure, and maybe maybe specifically it's more of whole educational system has been built in a way that people think that unless and until I get a job, I just have to forget about everything. I have to just get a job and my life is settled. So it's actually not true. So majority of youth innovation is curtailed, and in this way, and the last and most important thing, that a systematical removal of science of God from Indian educational system or global education system to just feed and satisfy the need of few people. A whole strand has actually created to remove the science of God, science of Vedic knowledge and God from the education system. So how to imbibe it and how to actually again reform it, in one sense, the whole thing, how to make the Indian youth stressless and happy. We actually have to work upon these three main departments or subsections. Then actually we can get very, very highly productive and highly enthusiastic youths for India and for the whole globe. So thank you so much for watching. See you again.